Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drayhon, back once again with another Dungeons & Dragons character conversion, Princes of the Apocalypse. Today we are looking at Aerisi, the leader of the Cult of the Howling Hatred. This is the second hardest character conversion of the 4 cult leaders. And you'll see why when we get into things. But first, let's take a look at Aerisi's main stats. As you can see, Aerisi is a 12th level spellcaster that uses wizard spells. And she has resistance to lightning, which comes from her spear, Windvane. And she's an elf, which makes sense. Now, according to her lore, she was a elf that lived in the Feywild, in a castle. Her parents spoiled her, and she also dreamed of and pretended to be an Avariel. Now, if you are a veteran of this channel, you might have heard me talk about Avariel in the past with another character conversion. They are winged elves. And she, for some reason, wasn't made aware that elves are immune to charm. And she thought she'd be able to charm other elves. But she was disappointed when she couldn't. She is a master of illusion and enchantment magic. And, well, I'll explain a little bit more as we get into things. But as a base character, we know that Aerisi is an elf with a 12th level lizard. Nothing much else. So this should be rather easy. No, unfortunately not. Things got a little bit more difficult when I started getting into the character of Aerisi. Starting off with her race. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at her stats. We're going to use the point buy system for her stats, which will be a 14 to her dexterity, intelligence, and charisma, a 12 to her constitution, 8 to her wisdom, and 8 to her strength. Now for the problem. Her race. Aerisi is a moon elf, which uses the high elf statistics. What? You see the problem. But these wings are illusory wings. She doesn't even have a flying speed in her stat block. She uses illusion and wind magic to give off the ability to fly. And that's where the trouble came in. Every illusion spell that I came across did not allow this to work. Alter self. You need to have the same arrangement of limbs. Fantastic. We should be able to do it, right? Wrong. Guess what wings are classified as? Limbs. Also, the other illusory magic like minor image and major image, and even the spell seeming, all take an action to move the illusion. So, you need to move, and then use an action to move your illusory wings. Now, That's just how I am interpreting it. I could be wrong. You could probably take an action to move the wings as you are also moving, but that seems a little weird, because in the rules for actions, it says that you can move up to a certain amount of feet of your speed, take an action, and move some more. And if you have a bonus action, you can use that bonus action. So that would mean that your illusory wings would basically have some lag. You would move, and as you stop moving, the wings would be with you. So, yeah, all those illusion spells, even Alter Self, never works because of one thing or another. But I did eventually find a spell that would give us the illusion of being an Avariel, just like Aerisi wants. And we'll get into that once we get to the spell list. But let's go ahead and continue on with this build, because I'm sure that's what you're all here for. So, like I said, Aerisi is a moon elf, which uses high elf. This gives us, of course, our +2 to 2 of our stats. Well, 2 to 1 stat and 1 to another stat. Dexterity goes to a 16, intelligence goes to a 15. You get a speed of 30 feet, you get dark vision of 60 feet, you'll get your Fey ancestry, you get the trance ability, you get a wizard cantrip, Goth Gust. You get proficiencies in the perception skill, long sword, short bows, and long bows for your weapons, and you also get languages of Common and Elvish. For your background, like I mentioned earlier, Aerisi was raised in a castle, so that means she is a noble. You get proficiencies in history and persuasion, you get a proficiency in one gaming set of your choice, and a language of your choice. We're going to go with Auran. We also get the feature position of privilege. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at those wizard features. At 14th level wizard, we get... Hold on. I remembered editing this right after I had done stuff. There we go. Much better. Alright, there we go. Alright, 14th level wizard, you get 14d6 hit dice with a starting hit points at 6 plus your constitution modifier, which is only a +1. But you also get an additional 1d6 plus constitution modifier each time you level up as a wizard. Proficiencies: daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows. Saving throws in intelligence and wisdom, and also skills on arcana and history, which I forgot to change that as well, since we already get history from being a noble. Anyway, not important. Spellcasting will be using your intelligence modifier, and you also gain arcane recovery. Now, as far as your arcane tradition, it says that Aerisi is a master of illusion in her backstory. So it would make sense to have the arcane tradition of illusion. This will give you illusion solvent, improved minor illusion, malleable illusions, illusory self, and illusory reality. However, I think that it would be amazing for Aerisi, who is a moon elf, to have the arcane tradition that originated with elves, blade singing. This will give you training in war and song. You'll get a bonus proficiency in light armor, spears, and the skill performance. You also get the ability Blade Song, Extra Attack, Song of Defense, and Song of Victory. let me tell you, these are actually some pretty good stats to have with Aerisi. A lot better than the arcane tradition of illusion. But I guess it's more of how you would like to play your character. How do you want to play your Aerisi? Do you want to be a master of illusions? Or do you want to be a powerful elf wizard? It's really up to you, and really, these are all just suggestions. This is how I am improving the character. So if I were to play as an Aerisi, I would definitely go with Blade Singing as an improved Aerisi character. Now, we are going to multi-class because remember, we also have to work with enchantment. And Aerisi is a master of enchantment who lived in the Feywild. So, after we get our ability score improvement, +1 to our dexterity thanks to the feat Piercer, and +2 to our intelligence, going to go ahead and move on to 6 levels of Bard. This will give us 6d8 extra hit dice and some extra hit dice on 1d8 plus Constitution modifier per Bard level. We also get proficiencies in the skill Deception, and we also get a musical instrument of choice. We get spell casting with our Charisma modifier. We also get Bardic Inspiration, Jack of all trades, and expertise in performance and persuasion. Like I said, Aerisi lived in the Feywild before she left to find Windvane. So, the Bardic College, College of Glamour, is the perfect Bardic College for Aerisi. Not to mention that it is based off of Feywild magic, but we also get enthralling performance as one of our abilities as a Glamour Bard, on top of Mantle of Inspiration and Mantle of Majesty. Furthermore, we also get the Fount of Inspiration and Counter Charm. Not only do we have advantage on being charmed, but we can even force the person who tried to charm us into being charmed themselves. Now, if that isn't a master of enchantment, I don't know what is. Now, that is the end of the build, but not the end of the video, because we also have our spells. But before we get into them, we also have the ability score improvement from level 4 Bard, and that is going to be +1 to our dexterity and +1 to our intelligence, rounding them both off to an 18. Now for those spells, we have I'm going to start with the Bard since it's a shorter list. Bard spells, we have the cantrips, Blade Ward, Friends, Vicious Mockery. First level spells, Desolate Whispers, Silvery Barbs, Sleep, and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Second level spells, Calm Emotions, Enthrall, Suggestion. Third level spells, we have Enemies of Bound, and Hypnotic Pattern. For our wizard spell list, starting off with the cantrips, we have Mage Hand, Message, Prestidigitation, Ray of Frost, and Shocking Grasp. First level spells, we have Charm Person, Disguise Self, Featherfall, Jump, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Shield, and Thunderwave. Second level spells, we have Dust Devil, Gust of Wind, Invisibility, and Phantasmal Force. Third level spells, we have Fly, Gaseous Form, Lightning Bolt, Counterspell, and Summon Fey. Remember, we are talking about someone who was from the Feywild, so it makes sense to have a Fey summoning ability. Fourth level spells, we have Ice Storm, Phantasmal Killer, and Storm Sphere. Fifth level spells, we have Cloud Kill, Conjure Elemental, Control Winds, Dominate Person, Seeming, and Wall of Force. Sixth level spells, we have Chain Lightning, Tasha's Otherworldly Guise, Investure of Wind, and Mass Suggestion. 7-level spell, we have Whirlwind. Now, let's go back to that 6th-level spell, Tasha's Otherworldly Guise. This is the spell that saves the character. We needed the ability to grow wings. Tasha's Otherworldly Guise gives us spectral wings. And a flying speed of 30 feet, mind you, but that is the point, is to have those wings. Now we actually look like an Avariel, the Winged Elves, as we always dreamed of being. I do hope that you enjoyed this build, my dear viewers. I do apologize for some of my rambling. Let me tell you, this character was definitely tricky. Just because of those illusion spells. I mentioned that on Twitter, that this was giving me a headache. Thankfully, Tasha's Otherworldly Guise was a thing. I was about to lose it. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again next week when we take a look at one of the 2 easier cultists, Marlos. Until then, this has been Drehan, and I am offline.